He's just gone under the 8 kilometres banner now. Another little rise to keep those legs pushing on the pedals. Still Ludvigsen trying to bring the man in green back there. John Degenkolb up for the sprint finish. Surely the big names are not going to fight out a small time bonus of 10 seconds, 6 and 4 for the first 3 finishers today, but they might.
Well, I tell you what, just behind John Degenkolb is a man wearing a white jersey. He leads the combination competition here at the Vuelta a España, and that is Alejandro Valverde.
Well, I don't know if you saw that. There's an acceleration right along the pack by the Astana rider. It's Tiralongo. He wanted to get to the front to tell the motorbike to get out of the way because he wants no attraction to try and chase down his young teammate.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a nail biter here, and just sitting there waiting his time is John Degenkolb. He can't do anything else. He's got to stay calm at a moment like this. Well, the gap's nothing now, Phil.
No.
It's pretty much all over bar the shouting. There's not much more than 2 or 3 seconds now.
I don't think there's much more than 2 or 3 seconds in those legs either of Ludvigsen, because that's about the limit for he'll have to swing off here. Now take a look around. There's not many giant Shimano riders left, and in fact the lead out man of John Degenkolb abandoned the race yesterday, Koen de Kort. He may have to do a little bit of freelancing on the run into the finish today and use other riders. He's under 7 kilometres to go and the gap about 2 seconds.
Well, if John Degenkolb can get himself the victory today, he'll give him a very comfortable advantage over Alejandro Valverde going into the weekend, and you could be sure that he's worked out all of those permutations in the back of his mind. And at 6.5 kilometres to go, well, it's a very narrow run in towards the finish. There's a very precarious run towards the final few kilometres now, with lots of lefts and right and very narrow streets downtown here in Cangas.
Well, I suppose you have to put the dustbin somewhere, and there they are on the left of the road as the peloton still can't quite get across to this youngster here, Lutsenko. He's certainly not giving up, and in fact Ludvigsen has now disappeared from the head of that peloton. Peter Kenyuk in the white jersey for Sky trying to move up and keep an eye on Froome.
Well, all of a sudden, the impetus has gone out of that main field there. They've spread right out across the road as if to say, right, who's going to chase now? That man looked as if he was just about caught Lutsenko, but now all of a sudden he'll look over his shoulder, he'll still see daylight, and because of the youth on his side, he will start to think, right, well, I'll keep this going along here.
Well, he's just got to hope. Another kilometre's ticked off. It's now 6 kilometres to go. The gap is 5 seconds. A kilometre back, it was 2 seconds. He now knows exactly where they are. He's looked over his shoulder as they line up. Look at the speed this young man's time trialing at. 50 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, that's almost 32 miles an hour he's hammering along at here, and he will not give up until he can feel they've overtaken him. Number of riders moving up on the right-hand side there from BMC Racing, but up into about 6th position there, right in the middle of the arrowhead, is John Degenkolb with the green jersey on his shoulders and right on his wheel. I wonder if Alberto Contador's trying to learn how to sprint at a stage like this. Oh, this little climb's going to hurt.
That's the one, I'm afraid. That was just one little hill too far for Lutsenko. The youngster did well to take his chance there. Now, Orica Green Edge, and I think it's Simon Clark has got onto the front here. As on the left is Peter Kenyuk, moving them all up as well as the little counter-attack going. It looks like Cadel Evans is trying to get on the back wheel there.
Yeah, but Peter Kenyuk. Sorry, up into 5th is Degenkolb, and it very much looks like Sammy Sanchez again moving up to the front end of this group into 3rd position, but Degenkolb is not being caught out. Michael Matthews is right on the wheel there of John Degenkolb in the green.
Adam Hansen launches an attack. He's ridden the last 10 consecutive Grand Tours over a period of 3 and a bit years. He's now launched again. Only found out today this man actually makes and hand makes all of his cycling shoes himself.
Well, I tell you what, they are throwing everything. This is really unbelievable racing here. You know what? There's a little bit of a split there, and one man missing is Chris Froome. There's Alberto Contador right on the wheel. It looks like of Rodriguez. Alejandro Valverde is in there too in the white.
Degenkolb is marking everything. He is so desperate to win at this stage. Adam Yates is with him as well for Orica Green Edge, but Matthews is a bit further down the line. He still has a little bit of work here. As Adam Yates is up on the front there. There he is in the white jerseys. A product, by the way, of the Dave Rayner Fund, and they're celebrating their dinner and raising more money to get youngsters into Europe and onto the foothold of going to become a top professional rider, as Adam Yates is doing just now. They've got the fundraising dinner, by the way, on November the 8th, something you should really look into. They've raised, you know, Paul, over £600,000 for youngsters with great talent. And David Miller was one of the first recipients.
Yep, and he's in the Vuelta, riding his last participation of the Vuelta. Adam Hansen, talk about a beast of a man. This man, just for fun sometimes, rides 2,000 kilometres on a mountain bike in the northern part of Australia. And to think that he's stitched together 9 consecutive Grand Tours is amazing.
Well, good for Adam Hansen. He's a Queenslander and he enjoys warmer climes, but today it's overcast here as we race around Galicia. There's a little bit of a chase going across. Again, Cofidis, as they so often do, try to launch, and this is Navarro. No, it's not. Yes, it is Navarro who's gone across again.
Well, that's a pretty impressive move. All of a sudden, Danny Navarro, who's pretty high up in the overall standings now, Phil, is trying to see whether or not he can score himself a second stage victory. He climbed up into 9th place overall in the last couple of days of this race.
Well, Adam Hansen got his rewards earlier this year. He finally got a Grand Tour stage win in the Giro d'Italia. Wouldn't it be great to get a win here in the Vuelta de España? It looks like they've got Navarro back.
Yes, and now it's the main field controlled by Giant Shimano. Up into second place, John Degenkolb. He looks so smooth and calm. Locked onto his wheel, though, is Michael Matthews. A little bit further back, you've got Alejandro Valverde there, Phil. He keeps jockeying forwards and backwards there in that white jersey. Yep. He's looking for the time bonus today.
And the points. And if he gets points today, then I think it'll be curtains in the green jersey. He won't get the jersey off Degenkolb today, but my goodness me, it could be tomorrow or on Sunday. Adam Hansen at 3.3 kilometres to go. And that, in fact, is now 3 kilometres to go. So we're even closer as Hansen tries to hold them off.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but he's stretching out his advantage here, and this man is showing some incredible power at the end of 3 weeks of bike racing. You know, he said the other day that he felt he was getting a little bit tired towards the end of the race, but this does not reflect a man who is tired. They are going to have, Phil, a very, very difficult time to catch Adam Hansen.
Well, he's been a national time trial champion of his country. I think I said he won a stage in the Giro this year. In fact, it was last year when he won the 7th stage of that race. The only time he's run a stage of the Grand Tour series, which is Spain, France and Italy. And now he's trying to steal a win. And now we've got going off the front from Movistar.
Well, I'll tell you what we've got now, Phil. We've got panic on board, because what is happening is all of a sudden these guys have realised Adam Hansen has got plenty of firepower in his legs. And at 2 kilometres to go, he's really going to be very difficult to catch.
Well, I'll tell you this, his mum will be cheering back home in Queensland, because she follows his every wheel turn around the world. And Hansen has a real chance here because he can ride against the watch and he can ride high-end speed over 2 kilometres.
And bear in mind, there are not many riders, Phil, in that group. A lot of riders got left behind on that final climb of the day, the Alto Montefarro, and they're spread across the road here. I wonder if any team has got the firepower to catch number 146. And that takes you right the way down to the finish line, by the way, that bus.
Well, Adam is one of the most popular guys in any multi-day stage race. And some riders in this pack will be rather hoping he does survive the last 1.2 kilometres. He only won 4 races in a career which started back in 2007.
Well, I tell you what, Phil, I've called a number of bike riders throughout their careers a beast, but what this man is doing today is something that you have to be a beast of a man, a beast of a bike rider to do, because it looks to me as Adam Hansen really has pulled off the great surprise of today's stage.
It would be a superb result. 1 kilometre to go for Adam Hansen. He's seen it, he's riding, he's going to snick every barrier here, and every corner he will shorten. I think they're not organised enough to bring him back at the moment, because they're afraid of the principal sprinters.
Yeah, they are. They haven't got any organisation. When you see a peloton at 1 kilometre to go spread across the road like that, that means there is no organised chase. They're all bunching up. They're slowing down. They do not have the same average speed as Adam Hansen. Hansen's next vision will be 500 metres to go. And once he sees that, he'll come around a corner. There will be the finishing banner right in front of him.
Well, this will be a result. Adam Hansen kicks again. Can he hold on here? A man who has ridden 30 weeks in 3 Grand Tours, because he's ridden 10 in a row. And he's now going to get, I hope, his second stage win, and he will. Adam Hansen has pulled off a tremendous performance here. Only the fifth win for his life. They're lining up the sprint now as Matthews tries to get on the back wheel of Degenkolb. But give the rewards here to the man from Cairns in Queensland. Adam Hansen has done it again. Well done. Now the sprint behind as Degenkolb hits the front, shoulder to shoulder with Matthews as they hit the line. And I think it's just going to go to John Degenkolb, best of the rest.
Well, a great sprint by John Degenkolb, but a phenomenal performance, Phil, by Adam Hansen. I think that will be a very popular victory amongst all of the professional bike riders because he's such an incredible man. He does so much work for the team throughout the years, and there he's come up with a phenomenal performance.
A phenomenal performance, or an extremely annoying one if you're John Degenkolb. Adam Hansen finished 5 seconds ahead of the field to take the maximum 25 points on the stage, although Degenkolb still banked a useful 20 for second place ahead of Pozzato, Martinez and Matthews. Alejandro Valverde was in the field on the same time with the other big names, but picked up nothing for 18th.
It was a little bit sad that in the end, we couldn't control it anymore, and we were like with still 3 guys, but there was another climb coming, and I didn't expect the climb to be that hard, and that was a little bit sad. And I'm happy for Adam Hansen. He's a really nice guy, and he deserves the victory, but. I should have need the points as well.
I'll be honest, I did not look in the road book. I should have, and I was thinking, this is one of the stages I should have looked in the final. I just looked at the last climb. I knew there was a lump, but on the profile it looked much easier. It looked much easier. So that with 5K to go, I turned the corner, I thought, okay, this is going to be difficult. But I worked in my favour with the climb, and I knew I was going up against lead-out guys. And in theory, I'm stronger than lead-out guys in the climb, so I knew I could hold them off.
So a brilliant stage win for a man riding his 10th consecutive Grand Tour, dating back to the Vuelta of 2011, which is worth a place on the podium in itself. And it was a good day all round for Lotto. Pim Ligtart got the most aggressive rider prize for his efforts in the break. John Degenkolb, meanwhile, received the honourable order of the eco-friendly light bulb as he increased his lead in the points race to 39, which will be all but impossible for Alejandro Valverde to bridge. Now, the presentations had been underway for a while by the time a dazed Dario Cataldo rolled in with Luke Rowe as his chaperone. He lost control on this bend with the red jersey of Alberto Contador just visible at the bottom of the screen behind him. And from the way he was lying, seems to have cracked his head on that tree behind him and knocked himself out.
Luke, you've just rolled in across the line with Dario Cataldo. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I caught up with him on the descent, and just he was getting back on his bike, and he's not in the best shape, to be honest. He's got a few cuts and scrapes, which I don't think will be a trouble, but he's got he doesn't know where he is. He's got a bit of a sore head, he's got a bit of a dent in his helmet, so he's taken a bit of a knock to the head, and he's a bit confused at the moment, so hopefully he'll come around for tomorrow.
¿Viste la caída de Dario Cataldo?
Sí, la vi, yo creo que nadie la ha visto mejor que yo. Iba justo detrás de él. He tenido que rectificar 3 o 4 veces para intentar evitarla de forma progresiva. Él también ha metido 2 o 3 veces rectificado en la curva, pero ha sido imposible de controlar y él se ha caído y yo pues hasta el borde y he conseguido librar la caída.
And having avoided going down, Alberto Contador holds on to his lead of 1 minute and 19 seconds over Chris Froome. No changes at all, in fact, at the top of the standings today. The favourites saving themselves for what they know will be a crucial day's climbing tomorrow. It'll take a phenomenal performance from Chris Froome to dislodge Alberto Contador from the podium on the eve of the final stage in Santiago. But as we've seen in the Tour de France, and as we almost saw again today, there are things other than a man's rivals that can ruin his chances.